Good afternoon, D&D Davidson, liveweatherblogs.com. Taking a look first at our severe weather potential, there is two areas that are broken apart here that have the better shot of organized severe weather. One goes from Montana straight into Indiana, Illinois, and Missouri. The other one starts at around Baltimore and around Washington, D.C., goes up to Atlantic City, Philadelphia, Boston, Massachusetts. More information coming through some of Rob Garino's weather blogs up there. Details more into the severe weather threat for the Northeast. So make sure you take a look at his blog that he has currently on liveweatherblogs.com. Taking a look at what happened this morning, we had uh, an MCS that we were talking about last night that decided to come across, and it came into Burlington, Philadelphia, Burlington, Camden, Gloucester counties this morning. There was a report of wind damage in that area. So we did have some of those MCSs hold together through the night and actually cause severe weather this morning in that area in the Philadelphia and Delaware Valley. There are also still some isolated probabilities of severe weather between the two severe weather areas. Um, this is the summertime; we can get those impulse severe weather events, but like I was just saying, the ones in the slight risk category are more detailed areas that have more organized severe weather. And this isn't just going to last in today. There's going to be some severe weather basically in the general Philadelphia area and back across through Nebraska for the next couple of days. We'll detail that in the 2 day and 3 day Storm Prediction Center outlook. We're now looking here at the 2 day. You can see there's a pretty giant area of along this stalled front of possibilities of severe weather. Let's see. We're talking about Washington, D.C., Harrisonburg, Virginia, near Charlottesville, Virginia, back across West Virginia, anywhere in Ohio, anywhere in Indiana, most of Illinois, northern Missouri, and central parts of Kansas, and most of the state of New Jersey, Philadelphia, Wilmington, Delaware. And like I said, they're right along this boundary. There's also a good possibility of thunderstorms that could go severe tomorrow, like in Roanoke, like in northern parts, Greensboro, North Carolina, uh, Bristol, Tennessee. These are areas that are like right now they're not going to have as much lifting and dynamics along those stalled front. It's going to be further away from the front, so that could limit the amount of severe weather tomorrow in Roanoke and in Greensboro, North Carolina. But there is still a probability of it happening. You see, it's within the 5 percentile here of those areas that I was just talking about. And the better chance, if it is in the 15 percentile, then in the Midwest you have the 30 percentile, which is going to be your best likely area for severe thunderstorms tomorrow. And then Wednesday, still along that stalled front, Nebraska over here towards Pittsburgh, another area of severe weather, and it's like I said, expands. Philadelphia could get some isolated severe, and so could Roanoke, Charlottesville, Richmond. These are all areas that could have some isolated severe thunderstorms on Wednesday. So the next couple of days may be active here in the Mid-Atlantic states, to say the least. A couple radar stops here. You can see some showers and thunderstorms developing along the front here in northwestern Pennsylvania. Also, look at this MCS's bow echo is bowed out. There's going to definite wind damage here in Illinois. You can see how that thing bows out. That's a pretty massive MCS, and this is going to travel east. So it will get into Indiana later, possibly Ohio, and it could in overnight hours go as far east as West Virginia and Virginia. You see some isolated thunderstorms popping up just east of the mountains, just east of the Blue Ridge here in Pennsylvania, and also some popping up near Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and towards Philadelphia later today. And in the northeast, you see where these clusters are developing, and it's going to get into a better environment along the coast here for severe weather, and some thunderstorms over the Chesapeake Bay and near Norfolk this time. Here's a look at right now at the Cape, and you can see the potential energy. Here's a good spot in southern New Jersey, Pennsylvania. It's a pretty good Cape here. That's sitting around between the 2,000, 2,500, and 3,000 area. That's going to generate some real lift in the atmosphere, and the most lift in the atmosphere is sitting back here in Missouri. Look at the state of Missouri. We're talking about almost 5,000 on the Cape, and this is within 3 hours. We're also going to look at it in 6 hours. You see that MCS is going to go into a good spot with more lift. Here's Roanoke. We got some good cape there, and there's also some really good cape along here in parts of Kentucky. So when that MCS gets into, if it gets into the Kentucky, it could have some fuel to play with, to say the least. And these are this is one of the things I look at um, for severe weather. Then you look at some of the other ones. And this is negative twos here in the Delaware Valley, and it's very spotty. But negative twos and negative threes are the most probable areas. This is a very spotty map. This is because it's gone by hours. Um, so negative twos and negative threes are about what you're going to find in the areas in Delaware Valley and parts of the Mid-Atlantic states. Now you have out in the Midwest some negative eights. So you can tell that's another parameter we look at. That's three. And you said negative twos and a little bit negative three and negative fours. Looking at a better map, are in that general area. So it is going to give the potential for some severe weather. Um, these are two of the areas we look for severe weather. Being able to have the energy to produce severe weather, and also having the available lift to lift the thunderstorms. And sometimes you get the pulse thunderstorms along the mountains, like here in Roanoke, when you have something called orographic lift, is when you hit the mountains and shoots the storm a couple thousand feet into the atmosphere and gives you a lot of downbursts type thunderstorms that give you strong, gusty, damaging winds and some hail. When we go looking into possibility of generating tornadic activity, we look at shear profiles, and you can see there's some good amount of shear in the Midwest. This is where you're most likely to have the tornadic activity in parts of this area today. But you can also see, and this is mainly also caused by the mountains, some shear right near Roanoke, Virginia, and we got some you got some shear up in the Delaware Valley and in that slight risk area in the Northeast. So you never can. This is why you never can rule out a tornado when we're talking about tornadic thunderstorms. So there are the three indexes. We can look in the sweat index that and other indexes to give general ideas on how we're going to get severe weather. But these are three that are easy to look at map wise and give you an idea if the atmosphere is conducive for severe weather. And as obviously in what I've shown you, the areas that are most conducive today. You're also going to look here at the sounding plots. This will tell you where your freezing level is. 12,294 feet in the atmosphere is your freezing level, and it'll tell you where your best. Over here, you can see how your wind speed changes with height. And here's a good. When you look at these dynamics here in the area, you can see a lot of this has in the lower levels are straight winds. So this would show you that your straight line winds are more probable to happen. When you get way up in the atmosphere, you're getting some mixing with height, and when that hits the ground, that's can cause your strong damaging winds. Also, hail is a possible threat based on the freezing level not being extremely high in the atmosphere. So this is just look at Roanoke. We're going to look at another one in Washington, D.C., and then we're going to go into your forecast today. This is our long version of the severe weather outlook. When I talk about changing wind direction and height, we're also talk about here. See how we got a southwest and we got a west. That's some low level shear possibly there, and the winds get higher with height, much higher, and also shift a little up in the upper parts. This can lead to more supercells, and also if you take a look here, you're looking at your cape 870 for surface, your forecast cape of 2500. So it's a good cape for severe weather. And it says over here, you can see. So that definitely is a area, and there's 20. There's pretty good shear also with this. So this is a good has a possibility of creating some supercellular thunderstorms. Freezing level there is 13,000 feet. Also, taking a look at the storm reports. There's not a whole lot yet. It's only 3 o'clock in the afternoon. One points me out is Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Trees and wires down in Cherry Hill from the damaging winds this morning, with that nice bow echo that rammed through there and rammed through Philadelphia. Real quick, with that bow echo that we were looking at the beginning in Illinois, we got a tornado warning now. This is on the upper part of that bow echo. A tornado warning now in effect. This is south of Decatur. It is moving east. The operator indicates rotation heavily in the storm. We'll get into a forecast a little later this afternoon as warrants. D.D. Davison, liveweatherblogs.com.